it's a lot of feeling. So like the visions are one thing, right? And putting things together is another, but it's actually the feeling stuff that's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, I think I've said in one of the last ceremonies, it was some really big feels, some really big, scary feelings came up. And to like feel through that and work through that is really, really big. A lot of it's also like you turn inward and you start looking at things. And so then there's like a lot of acceptance that comes, and a lot of, I think, things that you're usually holding on to, you can let go of some of that too. Yeah, it's really good.
So what's the outcome of feeling through the big feelings? Like, what happens when you feel through the big feelings?
What's the outcome of feeling through the big feelings? I think it makes you a more whole person.
It makes me a more whole person?
Well, sorry, it makes me a more whole person. It's like different ways of perceiving yourself or perceiving situations, of handling the way people interact with you, the way I internalize things. If someone's mistreating me, how I think about that, what I would put up with, what I consider I'm worth, those kinds of things that really. And then there's the low-key stuff too, like the long-held like grudges or angsts or angers that it kind of works through and allows you to just let go and like take a breath.
Like loosening the grasp kind of thing?
Yeah, and in fact that was one of the things I saw in one of my visions. I was looking at like, why am I so upset and angry at some of these things, and then it was just like a little hand that opened up, and there was nothing there. So yeah.
You mentioned sort of like boundaries and worth. It's changed your boundaries and changed your sort of valuing of yourself.
So how has boundaries and self-worth changed my interactions with other people? So I tend to have most of my struggles with like interpersonal relationships. Usually, like if I'm dating someone or something, that's where I work through my stuff. Career is fine. Family, I've learned how to cope and deal with, but that's one where like they'll push buttons, they'll trigger, and they'll do stuff. So for me, it's identifying patterns of the kinds of people I interact with, and then knowing that what feels comfortable or what feels like home doesn't necessarily mean it's the healthiest thing, and then recognizing that I can go into healthier relationships, and that I'm worth basic affection or like respect. Like those are some biggies.
Who do you think that this kind of retreat is for? Like what kind of person gets the most benefit out of this kind of work that we do?
So I came to this curious just about the experience initially, and didn't know about how it works with trauma or PTSD or any of that stuff. And I was just like, oh, I've heard about this kind of thing. It sounds interesting. I'll check it out. And then it's like I say a lot of times I'm working backwards, because I did one of these things and that thing, and then it helps process some of this other stuff. And then you go, holy crap, like there's a lot of stuff I didn't know or didn't process or wasn't dealing with. I think I have found it helpful for integrating trauma and acceptance, and I think a lot of people have it. A lot of people may not know. A lot of people, I used to walk around and say, I came from a really nice household and like no drama and this and that and this and that. And then as I talk about it more, it's like, oh, some of those things weren't normal.
Right.
Or normal on a wider scale.
Yeah, but you had normalized it.
Yeah, I had normalized a lot. So I think it's a lot more intense. I did not know what to expect, but facing the feelings and things like that can be pretty scary. So it's a lot of you have to like work through it and go through it, but you'll manage. You'll come out on the other end. It's gonna be okay. I am someone that also approached a lot of this stuff as I have to fix me. And so like, I need to fix me. I'm going to fix me. And so I came here a lot of times working on myself, trying to better myself. So if you're into self-improvement, mindfulness, that kind of thing, this will fit right into a lot of that.
Do you still feel like you need to fix yourself?
Ooh, that's a little yes, but I understand. It's like knowing one thing and then still having a little bit of the thing.
Yeah.
I like to. The question was, do I feel like I still need to fix myself? I like to consider like bettering myself as a general thing, and
Sure.
so I have come to the conclusion that I was not broken, and that I was just at a different level of coping with the realities and the perceptions that I had. So I've got that. Yeah.
So not broken,
Yeah.
just improving,
And just improving.
just evolving.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of this journey was about like self-acceptance and figuring out some things, and so I'm in these sessions. I'm really gentle with myself. I get in touch with like the inner child thing. That's usually what I work with. It's like the smaller version of me, and so that's how I handle that.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you think that people should know? Like anything you want to share with someone who might be looking at our community and looking at what we do together, and anything that you want that for someone on the outside looking in that you think they should know?
Okay, so this specific community is the best. So opening, accepting. Just come as you are. Go through the things. When you need help, someone is there. If you need to be held, someone is there. It's a lot of support and care. Yeah.
I'm really glad you feel that way. I'm glad that's been your experience.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's been really a treat being here with you.
It's been so nice. Very heavy too.
Heavy?
Yeah, very heavy.
What kind of heavy?
A lot of newness. Like I've never done Kambo before. I've never had the cactus medicine before.
Right.
Never had 4 days of Aya before.
Right. So let's talk about that. How was the schedule? How was this, like, especially for us here in this, in 7 days? How was the 7-day for you?
Oh.
With the fullness of activity.
How was the schedule and the fullness of activity? I really appreciated the down day. Down days were so good for just giving the body rest, consuming some calories. I think this stuff takes a lot out of you, especially because when you're on Aya, You are not eating as much. You're maybe not drinking as much water too. Um, the the massages, the integration time, the river or stream ceremony, the walks, all of that stuff was really good to get into the body, rest, recuperate, and then come at it again in the next day. 4 days of Aya was a lot, but I still got a lot. I mean, I got something out of each and every time, and even when I thought I have no idea what I'm going to get, it just showed me something else. You had the important things covered. You had accessible bathrooms, and a safe place to lie down. Like, that was the things that I looked forward to. I was just like, okay, here we go. We have this, we have that.
Peeing and lying down.
Yeah, well, and the music was some jams. There were some jams with this one. Oh man, it was really good. I liked it all. It was a little for someone that is maybe their first time. I would just say you don't have to do all ceremonies, and you don't have to do, like, if your body's not feeling it, it's totally cool, and you can rest up. There were times where I was late to something because I was resting, or I decided to maybe not take 4 cups of Aya. maybe 3. Because it builds up over time. So.
And even you had one night with 2, did you?
I had one night with 2.5.
Right.
Yeah. And it's each time the Aya, Mike, the metabolisms are weird. Each time the Aya would kick in at a different time, at a different intensity. Sometimes after the ceremony, it would kick in. So, but yeah, I enjoyed the pace. The setting is amazing. It's just amazing. I really appreciated that the meals were tailored for this kind of thing. It was essentially you got to wake up, have community, recharge or process or go on a journey, and you didn't have to really think about a ton of the stuff. And the schedule felt really good. I felt complete at the end of the day. I was able to get some rest and felt recharged in the morning. So it was good.
Amazing.
Yeah. I liked, there was the familiarity with some of the voices. I'm horrible with names, so, but when I heard some of the voices, I was like, you helped me the last time, and he's like, yeah, man. Hearing everyone's story and having them be so open and work through things helps me be more open and work through things. If they are crying, if they are laughing, if they are honest just about their life, then it blew me away. I was sitting there listening to just conversations, and my jaw is like dropping on the floor with how open and vulnerable and honest people are, and I was just like, ooh, okay, this is a safe place to just be yourself, to let down some of the guard. And that's really nice. And everyone, that's why I like coming to these things, is everyone is incredibly real. The veneer is washed away real quick. And then you get to see people just doing their thing, working on their stuff, really processing. And there's, like, whenever you hear someone going through something or breaking through, it's like you feel good too, because you're like, oh, that's really good for them to do that. And it's so nice that they're be able to release and process this stuff. So it's almost like building on each other.
All building something together.
Yeah.
Building vulnerability, building trust, building openness.
The ability to process, the ability to confront things. Yeah, it was really good. For me, seeing some of the transformations take place and to witness some of that, and then to have my own work done, this stuff is serious. The integration and the processing that happens from some of this stuff has literally been life-changing for me. So I think for me it's staying in the moment and being part of the experience is a highlight. I like the communal time. So interacting with people makes me a little uncomfortable. And so like leaning into some of the uncomfortableness and like having fellowship and community was a highlight, and how effortless it is and how accepting everyone is. And it's just hearing like communications or like hearing conversations and like big laughs, and then like getting random, like getting supportive hugs, like that kind of stuff was really nice. I think I have a little bit of like ceremony brain, because like that midnight snack, those were highlights for me, coming together, talking, kind of letting down some of the heaviness of the experience. That was a highlight for sure.
Any lowlights, any low points that were really challenging?
Any low points that were challenging. For me, my internal dialogue can be a little bit of a grouch sometimes, and sometimes my patience is thin. And then here, if I caught myself being a little bit of a grouch or having thin patience, I would just sit with that, and then a little bit later, like not even very long later, it would just be like, oh, okay, that's what this was, or that's what this is. And then I would, those feelings would dissipate. I think there's also, you're in control of your experience. If something is too sensory, like the music being, like if you're sensitive to the music after a little bit, or like there's a song that's like really low and guttural, and you're like, I don't want to be transported to another universe just yet. Like, whoa. You're in control of that, and you have the power to step out and get air. Or if a conversation, for me, a lot of times the pacing of some conversations was very fast, like a lot of words in a very short time, and I'm going, just trying to process. So I would just step back for just a little bit and give you just a little bit of buffer, and then that helps. But if you're not comfortable with that, and you're not comfortable with being in charge of your own experience, it could put you into some uncomfortable feels. So I think this time around, I've kind of started to manage those things and know, all right, this is what my body needs. This is what like I need to lay down and look at the sky for a little bit and do that. And then that has helped a lot of the experience. So.
Here comes the truth.
Yep.
Anything else you want to share?
No, I think this has been really nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Really,
All right.
really, really, really appreciate you sharing a lot.
Yeah, thank you
so much. Really appreciate it.
We did it just in time.